Hey guys, welcome to the supplementary exercise videos. First, we're just going to talk about general stretching principles. When we're stretching, we want to make sure we hold a specific position, and it's going to be specific to each stretch to make sure that we're stretching the right target muscle. In general, we're going to go for a full 1 minute holding time and try to repeat that on 3 times. And that's 3 times for each side if we're doing a unilateral stretch of just one leg. The principles may vary depending on the advice from your individual physiotherapist, depending on what's going on. But that's a general principle that we want to adhere to. So for our hip flexors, we want to try to maintain a posterior pelvic tilt. So again, that anterior pelvic tilt, that water is dumped forward out of the front of the bowl, our bum's pointed up towards the ceiling, tail poking up towards the ceiling. So we want to do the opposite. Draw in the lower abdominals and the gluteal muscles to keep that bowl of water nice and level, and that's going to help us feel that stretch. So stretch number 1. A standing quadriceps stretch. We're going to grab our ankle and try to secure the ankle directly behind the hip joint. Pull the knees back so the knees are as close together as possible in line and establish that posterior pelvic tilt. So squeeze your bum muscles, squeeze your lower abdominals, stand up tall, and we're going to do some deep breathing. Now deep breath in, deep breath out, and we're going to try to pull deeper into that stretch on our breath out. Okay, set your timer for 60 seconds. The next variation of a stretch is stretch number 2A. This is our kneeling hip flexor stretch. So we're going to take one knee. We're going to make sure our hip is behind our knee joint to start. We're going to stretch it so we're in a comfortable position and we can transfer our weight forward. But first, we're going to establish that posterior pelvic tilt. So again, tail tucked between the legs. We should already start feeling a little stretch down the front of our hip and the hip flexors there. From there, we're going to maintain that tilt, lots of glutes, lots of lower abs, and just slowly transfer our weight forward. We should be feeling that stretch already. We don't want to lose that tilt and come into the anterior tilt. We can get really far, and all we're doing is aggravating our back and stretching out all our hip ligaments, which we don't want to. Okay? So we're going to maintain that tilt. If we want to progress to stretch number 2A, we're going to add in an overhead reach. So we've got our tilt. And slowly transfer our weight forward. We're going to reach up and over our bodies. Okay? And that's going to get up into our iliopsoas muscle. To progress to stretch series number 3, we're going to go against the wall here. So we're going to start with our feet directly against the wall. I highly recommend using a pillow to pad up your knees. Whichever side we're stretching, we're going to try to get that knee into the corner of the wall. So right now my right knee is in the corner of the wall and my shin's facing up the wall there. For option number 1, we're going to slide our knee forward and outwards. And this is going to allow us to sink our hip deeper down towards the floor. Again, posterior pelvic tilt, hands stay on the ground, and we're thrusting our pelvis into the ground until we feel that stretch deep in the front of our right hip flexor. Okay? To progress to intensity number 2, our hands stay on the ground. Sorry, this is number 3B. And we come up into a lunge position. You can even come up on your fists to be a little bit higher. Again, making sure we're maintaining that PPT. And the next variety, 3C, we're going to come up and support on our leg. Again, try to maintain that tilt as best as we can. Go through our deep breathing. This is a very aggressive stretch position. Make sure we're nice and warmed up before we do it. And we're going to reverse the steps to exit the position. There we go.